just had a really good question about retractable leashes. And so I want to address this because I think this is really important because I know a lot of people like them as leashes and they use them as leashes. If you are an experienced handler and if your dog has a good recall, then I would say if you want to use a retractable, use a retractable. I don't like them. I don't use them at all, ever. But under those circumstances, if you wanted to use one, you could use one. And here's why again. When I have my dog out at 10 feet or 12 feet or however long they go, if something happens to my dog, if you watch the video on middle position, this makes sense to you. When my dog is out that far in front of me, my dog has to deal with whatever comes their way. So if my dog gets approached by another dog and my dog is 10 feet away from me or however long the leashes go, then I need to get my dog back to me. And I do not have the confidence that with a retractable leash, I can let go of that button or push that button or do whatever I got to do, and that leash is going to come back to me quickly enough. And I see this, and I've seen this. I've had people who have brought their dogs to my training facility on a retractable and have had to use them for the first session because that's all they had. And their dog has wandered over to my dog, and my dog's kind of looking at me going, hey, there's this little mutt over here who's getting in my face. And the owner is panicking, trying to get their dog back to them as their dog is getting closer and closer. You don't have that quickness, and you've got too much line there to pull in order to get your dog back to you. If I have that retractable leash and I accidentally let go of it, that heavy piece of plastic is going to wind itself up and it's going to get my dog right in the butt. And that is going to scare the hell out of my dog. It's probably not going to physically hurt them, but it's going to scare the hell out of them. And I don't want to give my dog that kind of a scare for something like that. I have heard of people getting seriously injured by those I mean, it's a long piece of wire, right? There was a young girl in Toronto who was riding her bicycle, and there was a person with their dog, and their dog was kind of across the sidewalk on a retractable, and the little girl didn't see the wire, and she got it right across. Now, obviously didn't cut her head off, but it cut her across here. There was a ban for a time on extra long leashes because of that in Toronto, but this young girl got hurt because she didn't have it. I've seen owners walking and their dog, they're on the sidewalk and their dog's so far away from the dog's on the road. I've seen that happen. So I just don't like them, especially when you're starting to train your dog. You want your dog close to you. You want them in that heel position when you're walking. They don't need all that freedom to wander all over the place when they're walking. They don't know what to do with that yet. They're not trained to be able to do that. Like I said, down the road when your dog is trained and your dog's got a recall and you're going out on the trail hiking and you want to give your dog that space and that's what you want to use instead of a long line, fine, use it then. But at the point in your training where you're first starting, especially if you have a young puppy, don't do it. The other thing real quick while I think about it is, and this actually happened to me personally. It was a large dog on a retractable and the dog got excited and started to run. And again, I couldn't shorten the leash quickly enough. And the dog all of a sudden had like 15 feet of torque and it hit the end of that leash and it didn't phase the dog, but I went up, flat back down on my back because I was still holding on to that end and the dog had all that running space to build up the speed. So my answer is no. Please don't use a retractable. They're big, they're bulky. For our training specifically, they're not conducive to our kind of training. Go pick yourself up a 6-foot leash. If you have a small dog, you can get real small, fine ones. That's fine. As long as, again, if you don't have a big pulley dog, those fine ones aren't going to rip your hands, like rope burn kind of thing. That's fine, but please don't use a retractable. And those are all my reasons why. And I'm happy to answer any more questions about them if you have them. Okay, thank you.